Good morning, everyone. This is Jeffe Kennedy, author of Epic Fantasy Romance. I'm here with my first cup of coffee. Ah, delicious. Today is, say it with me, people, it is Friday. Woohoo! May 31st, last day of May. Um, I mean, another month we'll be halfway through the year. I just don't even know how it happens. But here we are, aren't we? Uh, I am doing better. I am getting back into the groove. It did help a whole lot to go back to the beginning of Reluctant Wizard and begin revising from there. Um, Thanks to all of you who sent in nice comments about how that works for you and your process. I really love hearing from everyone on what your process is or your process questions. I'm always happy to address them here or reply to you there, whatever you like. Hit me up on any of the social media places. I think I see them all. If I'm not seeing something, you can always go to my website and send an email through the website contact form because my assistant sorts through those and she sends me all the ones that are not spam. Uh, so, like, if sometimes I think I'm missing Facebook comments, I like see them months later. What is up with that? Anyway, um, but yeah, I'm happy to address things. I'm happy to discuss them, answer your questions. We don't always get to have that live back and forth conversation, but that is a way that I can know what you want to hear. It's sometimes difficult to know what you want to, what. Let me endeavor to be articulate. Uh, to It's hard for me to know what you don't know. There, how's that? And I will endeavor to be more articulate than that in answering questions should you ask. Yeah, so I've had a good week and bringing May up out of the dregs for overall word count. So even though I have been revising, I have been adding quite a few words to Reluctant Wizard, and I already have, not counting today, obviously. Um, I don't know why I have on here that I have 4 working days left. Sorry. It's not your problem, my problem. Uh, but I've done 3770 words this week, which is more than I've done in the last 3 weeks, like even when I was theoretically drafting. So that's a sign. People ask sometimes, like, how do you know? How do you know when you stop drafting and start revising? For those of you who have never finished a book and you know who you are, because we talk about this, you got to finish the book first before you revise. But if you have successfully finished, I'm going to say several books, 3. Let's arbitrarily call it 3. If you have gone through and you have finished 3 books, then you may start playing with this. When do you halt in the drafting and start revising? And it's a gut thing. I wish that there was some kind of formula that I could give you. I know there are people out there who offer to give you formulas, and I'm going to tell you a secret. They are liars. They are liars. They are just making it up so they can sell it to you. Um, because every book is different. That's like one of the things you can count on. It's sort of like death, taxes, and that everything you create is going to be different each time you create it. I think even the people who really try to make this into a factory process of widgeting, they find that this is true. So that made me think of a slight aside. I know I have not set the release date for Reluctant Wizard yet, largely because I just have not had confidence that I can finish this frickin' thing. And obviously, for those of you who've been listening for a long time, I'm waiting on comments on 2 other books, and I might have to drop everything and do those. So I've been leaving it loosey goosey, and I've been sitting on the cover reveal, which I wish that I could show you all the cover. Well, I did, kind of. I gave you the sneak peek on here. But I will get that out there as soon as I think that I can reliably get this book out. Uh, I think it's going to be July. I really wanted to get it out by the end of the June. End of the June. That was good, Jeffy. But um, I think it was a dream I had, a dream I once dreamed, uh, and I just don't think it's possible. What I am going to do, I don't know, I think I shared this with you all, but those of you who self-publish and um, may find this interesting, because I've gotten this advice from a couple people, and I'm going to try this because you all know that I don't really do Kindle Unlimited. Uh, and when I've done Kindle Unlimited, it's always been with books that have been out before. So I'm going to give this a try this time. I'm going to put this up for pre-order. Don't panic. Stop. Don't panic. Listen. I'm going to put it up for pre-order on all of the platforms. Okay. All right. So all of you faithful readers, if you get it on Nook or Google Play or whatever, you will be able to get it. You will always be able to get it through my website because Amazon doesn't pay attention to that, apparently. I hope. Well, we'll see. I may have to renege on that. Don't hold me to that one. But so I'm going to have it up for pre-order everywhere. Uh, Once release day hits, and I will discount for pre-order too. So on release day, I'm going to raise the price on Amazon and take it down everywhere else and put it into KU for 3 months and see how it does. Um, yeah. And I think that this could be a really useful way to do it. And then after the 3 months exclusive period on Kindle Unlimited is up, then I'll put it up wide again. I'm really interested in this experiment to see how it goes. I've been trying to write this book so that it's a little bit more separated from the previous books in the world. You all will know, obviously. But I don't think I'm going to have POVs from the previous characters in this book. We'll see what happens. But this is shaping up to be a much more focused book. And as always, I was fighting that for a little while. And, now I'm giving up fighting it and letting it be what it's going to be. But it's a little bit more of an intensive romance. It's taking place largely at Convocation Academy. There's a lot of stuff with learning magic and that kind of thing, which is fun to write. So, yeah, it's just got a little bit of a different sweep. I feel like we did this big epic sweep with the first 6 books. This one's going to be a little more focused, and then we might build out to more epic sweep by the end of this book and in the next 2 books. So I think that sounds great, doesn't it? It is what it is, because that's what it's going to be. Yeah, and I was talking about this. I did have writer coffee, writer brunch yesterday with Jim Sorensen, which was really good. I was feeling unsettled yesterday morning, really for no good reason. And I was thinking a whole lot about Becca Syme, who I like very much. And I think she does great coaching, gives great advice. But, with those Clifton strengths, and you all have heard me complain before that my number one strength is connectedness, and I don't even know what to do with that or what it means. And she had given me the advice, because I'd made that comment at some point, that for her, because she has connectedness too, I think that's why I asked her about it. She said for her it meant that when she was feeling unhappy or unsettled, that she needed to connect with somebody. And so it was really great to have a long brunch with Jim yesterday, and we talked about all kinds of things. And I did come away with my well refilled. I think this is part of what I'm talking about with the aggressive well refilling, is figuring out which things you can actively do to add back to the well, to restore yourself. And for me, having conversations with good friends is a big piece of that. So, yeah, cheers. Thank you, Becca. So it's something that's easy for me to forget, being an introvert and being someone who tries not to leave my house or avoids leaving my house. Uh, and it's interesting because, and I'm ruminating now, that connectedness with other people it's an odd thing because you don't connect with everybody in the same way, which is why it's great to have different friends, right? You have your friends that like I meet Megan for drinks and we talk about certain things. And I had a video call with Dorinda the other day and she's doing really well. I don't know if I've mentioned, but we are going to set up a GoFundMe for her because the medical bills are really crushing and she's having a hard time and she's not a person who likes to ask for help, but we're going to be setting that up probably when I get back from Nebula conference, which is next week. So I will do the podcast here on Monday. It would be interesting to do one on Friday morning while I'm there with somebody, but we know how well I do on that. But it would be fun to round up someone who's there to have on the podcast. I should just like park outside and as people are going by, have them say hello. Um, yeah, so that different people provide different kinds of connection. And I think I think I didn't mention on here, but I read the memoir More by Molly Roden Winter uh, about opening up her marriage and discovering the how to have connections with more people than just her husband. More. And it's a fascinating read. It's really good. She is brutally honest about her emotional struggles and the things that she went through, um, the things that they fought about. And it was very enlightening for me to uh, discover, I don't know, different ways of thinking. Like, do you have to have a monogamous relationship to have a truly strong and committed relationship? What is the meaning of love? What is the meaning of connection with other people? So that was an interesting read. I've been branching out in reading, just because maybe it's part of the aggressive well refilling. I also read, and I'm going to have to pause and look up the names. I read this book called Vita Nostra that Lexi Chantel reviewed on Goodreads and recommended. I'm so behind on recommending books. I used to put it on my to-do list and then it started to feel crushing. So I just took them all off, but I should do these. Vita Nostra, which translates to Our Life, is by Marina and Sergei Dyachenko, and I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, but they are Ukrainian living in the US and wrote this book in Ukrainian, and it was translated to English, and it is fascinating. It is a kind of dark, urban, speculative fiction story, and it was really a great read because, again, it made me think in different ways, and I've been needing that lately. Right now, I am reading The Idea of You by Robin Lee. I'm reading the actual book, saw the movie first. I actually watched the movie twice. That's the Anne Hathaway movie where everybody was like, Anne Hathaway doesn't look 40. It's like she's literally 42. Um, and I'm really loving the book. Obviously, the book has a lot more to it than the movie did, but it's got all this great traveling, lots of European stuff, lots of stuff about Solen's movements through the art world, which are really minimized in the movie because they had to cut something. But I really recommend that too. So those have been my reads lately. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I was reading to tell you about. Yeah, there were a few that I just kind of stopped reading because I got tired of it. And that was when I realized I needed to branch out genre-wise and read something different. I was reading way too much romantasy and it was starting to feel repetitive. Speaking of which, I do think that this is something that happens with the cycling in publishing, and it's happening in indie publishing too. So don't tell me it's only traditional publishing. I think one of the reasons that genres die, and I'm putting air quotes around that, is because you get this burgeoning when a genre becomes super hot like this, like romantasy is right now, that you get all of these traditional publishers acquiring it. Everybody wants romantasy books for their release schedule. You have all of these indie authors moving to writing it, writing more of it. I can think of 3 authors offhand with just my agent who have moved from other genres like contemporary romance to writing romantasy because it's hot right now. And so what happens is you get a lot of people, and absolutely no shade on anybody writing this stuff, because I know people are having fun with it, and they're writing what they want to write. Although some people, I'm going to say none of them are, like my agency sisters, being perfectly clear there. But I have seen a few other people doing this where they're basically, well, they're chasing the trend. And so they are analyzing books. I've seen people discussing this where they are analyzing the books out there. It's called writing to market. And they write a book that hits all the exact same beats and has all the exact same elements in order to, cash in on the hot trend. And so what happens is you get a lot of sameness. So this is what happened. I could think of it, like back whatever years it was, like when vampire stories were so hot, right? And you would get all of these vampire books that were vaguely the same. And you would like start reading some of them and thinking, did I read this before? And it's like, no, you've just read a dozen other books that are exactly like this. And there are going to be readers out there, absolutely, who want to read that. They want to read the same thing over and over. And one thing that's traditional publishing is guilty of is that there are always going to be those editors who are like, well, I want something fresh. I want something different. And it's like, but they don't want anything too different. What they're saying is they want a book exactly like the hot book out there, but different enough to feel fresh. And it's this really weird line for authors to try to tread. And my best advice is don't even try, because this is a balance beam that is rigged against you, to mix about 20 metaphors there. But this is what happens. You start, and I've noticed it, like some of the romantasy books I'm reading, there starts to feel like a lot of sameness. And it floods the market with a lot of unsatisfying reads. Maybe they wouldn't have been unsatisfying if they had been in that, initial 30% or 50%. But once a book is like the previous 90% of the books that came before it, you start to get fatigue, right? And readers get bored and restless and they start looking for something else. And that's when the genre dies. And I put air quotes around it because you could still publish books in that genre, but they have to be books that don't feel exactly the same as what everybody kind of got exhausted by. So those are my thoughts on that today. Other things. Oh, I watched American Fiction. Watch American Fiction. It is so good. It's amazingly good. I kind of want you all to go watch it and let me know so that I can then discuss it without spoilering. But basically, Jeffrey Wright is a Black writer of literary fiction. He can't sell his newest book. He his agent tells him, well, they want a Black book, and his name is Monk. His name is Thelonious, and everyone calls him Monk for short. And Monk says, this is a Black book. I am Black, and this is my book. And the agent's like, no, you know what I mean. And what he ends up doing, this is all in the trailer, what he ends up doing is writing this book under a pseudonym, pretending that he's an ex-con and a fugitive from justice. And he writes this very ghetto book about like the worst stereotypical aspects of Black life. And of course it sells and does phenomenally well. And there's There are so many well done things about this movie. I'll tell you one that there's the agent mentions this black woman who has written this book along these lines, with a lot of this very ghetto language. And Monk goes to hear her reading, and he's standing at the back of the room listening to this incredibly intelligent, articulate, sophisticated woman. She's gorgeous, and she's had this very intelligent conversation with the white woman who is the interviewer and looking very thoughtful and serious. And she starts reading the book and goes, "Yo, Sharonda!" And Jeffrey Wright just is getting this appalled look on his face. He is so horrified. And the audience breaks into applause. And a white woman stands up directly in front of Monk and eclipses him, clapping with enthusiasm, her delight eclipsing his horrified expression. And it's brilliant, and it is funny, and it is insightful. And if you write, even if you don't write, go watch this movie. I can't believe it hasn't gotten more notice. It's on Prime, so if you're on Amazon Prime, as let's face it, everybody is, you can watch it for free. And on that note, I'm gonna get one more day of work in. I hope you all have a fabulous weekend, and I will talk to you all on Monday. You all take care. Bye bye.